Ooh, come on. Yeah,
Hi.
we are live. Good
Hello.
morning, everybody. And it's Blast and a Half. And I am here this morning with a woman I just simply adore, Niki Woodall. I am so happy. And thank you, John Tesser. I meant to put that in the post for this amazing introduction. And that's how I met Niki, through John Tesser. And what we're talking about today is, here we go, what hiring managers really want. And Niki, please do an intro for yourself so everyone who doesn't know you yet gets to know you and understands how incredible and amazing you are.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I forgot that we were a John Tesser
We were done.
connection. Yeah, we just chatted this week. So hi, John. Thanks for introducing me to this lovely lady. So yeah, I am Niki Woodall. I am I say mindset coach and career coach by night, but by day I'm a recruiter at Facebook. And I've been there for 3.5 years and recruited across all different industries and types of things before that for about 10 plus years or so. Nonprofits, startups, agency. So I've seen it all. And today is going to be about what hiring managers really want. I'm not spilling the tea on Facebook specifically. This is like industry wide, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing from clients, and just what I've seen throughout a decade of doing this crazy stuff. So
excellent. So we're going to delve into the first question, which I kind of already know the answer. Just in case anybody's wondering, like, what's the difference about what hiring managers want today versus, time ago? And
yeah.
I really love what you had shared. I don't want to spill the beans.
Yeah. I like this question a lot. It actually got me thinking because I am the type of person too that I love trends. I love to see what's going on, what was going on before, what can we learn from it. They say, if we don't learn from our past, we're doomed to repeat it. So from a mindset lens, which I think all things are rooted in that, it's interesting to think about, what was going on a year ago. But I think because it was such a weird year for all things economy, personal life, this and that. There's not one human alive right now who has not had their life totally changed, either in a small or big way, actually, from the whole pandemic and stuff. So to compare to last year is to me kind of useless. Like, if you're wondering that, I would say, why are you wondering? Because it's actually from a mindset shift perspective, it's a distraction and it's a deterrent from you focusing on what's going on right now, which is nothing's changed. Nothing's actually changed from a hiring perspective, especially from this specific hiring manager. A hiring manager, we're not talking like these global companies and their big decisions and stuff, but a very specific hiring manager, they want what they've always wanted, which is to get their role hired as quickly as possible. So they don't want to talk to 7 million candidates. When they just get the headcount and they want that role filled, they don't want to do 1 million interviews for that position. They want the person to show up, early on so that they can get them hired and get them trained, get them started. So I think it's the same as always.
Right. And what you said is, they want them to move quickly. In the lexicon, it's basically called speed to market, right? Get this person, get the most amazing person that I can for this role quickly, because the faster that I can hire, the faster I can move the business, the faster I can get back to my real job, the faster I can, keep the team cohesive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
So speed to market. And so how does that translate if you're a candidate? What can I do as a candidate to encourage that acceleration through the process and what we talked about, standing out, so that you can be identified as, ooh, I'm that person?
So if you know that a hiring manager, their main objective is to fill that seat, so that because it's filling their business need, it's helping the rest of their team not be overworked and all that kind of stuff, then for you, how do you stand out? You are super responsive to the recruiters. You are moving through the process, or coaches, or whoever's representing you, you're moving through the process as quickly as possible. If they ask you for, something, updated resume, or they need this or that, or the scheduling stuff, you're not giving us availability for 6 weeks out. You are giving it to us for, the next 2 weeks. So that is a big one, is like, moving quickly through the process, because we all have a job to do. And I think sometimes that gets really lost with candidates, is understanding that it's a job. Our job is to fill the jobs as quickly as possible too. It's not to, wait till December. And now is an amazing time. This is actually really exciting to be sharing and talking with you, because I am so excited for job seekers right now. I feel like so many companies are hiring. Think about the time of year. It's September. Is it September? I think so. It's September. We have October, November. They want these positions filled this year. If they're open, they don't want this to carry into 2022. So success loves speed is one of my sayings, and I have this in my online course. Basically, why do something over the stretch of like 6 months, like your job search? Why do something instead of commit with intention and dedication to say, I'm doing a 90-day run. I'm going to put as much intentional action into my job search as possible over the next 90 days and get that speed, because success loves speed. So right. Time of year, it's perfect time of year to do that before the holidays.
Excellent. And we have a mention here from my dear friend Tegan, and she says that's why one of the metrics recruiters are evaluated on is time to fill. So you as the recruiter are also incentivized, because that also contributes to your overall performance. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I know that one of the old sales adages, time kills all deals. Yeah. So if you are somebody who is excited about this organization, you have an opportunity to strike while the iron's hot at every step of the way.
Exactly. I never thought about that it is one of our metrics. It's like time to fill. Do we want this? We don't look good when the job's open for a year. So that's
yeah. So great. Help everybody out by making it easy for them to work with you so that they can get their job done and you can land where it is that you want to be.
And the underlying point of that, though, just to clarify, is that we want you to win. We want you to win. We don't want you to just be going through the process and for us to be like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping somebody sticks. Recruiters genuinely want you to win. And think about it from a business lens. Like we don't want you to be unhappy and leaving, and then we have to fill this all over again. We want this to be a genuine fit. We want everybody to win in the process, our team to be happy with you. It's the best feeling when you hire somebody. It's why a lot of recruiters are recruiters, to get that feedback from a hiring manager or a candidate to say, wow, I'm so grateful that I got this job, or I'm so glad I made the move here, because it's just been amazing, like 6 months later or a year later. So everybody, we want you to win that, but we want to do it quickly.
Right. I just had to put this up here. Your recruiters can be your best friends, because they're team you, right? They're exactly. Team you. If they've sourced you, if they brought you into the process, they want to see your success. And I love what you talked about a little bit before, right? When you said your recruiter should be helping you prepare. Mm-hmm. And when I was asking before the show a little bit about, okay, so what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see candidates making? Talk to us about kind of your number one, like glaring mistake that you see maybe every day.
The glaring mistake is not preparing enough for any kind of interview. So whether it's the recruiter screen or the on-sites and stuff, it's not preparing enough. And I think this always boils back again to a mindset thing of knowing there's average person preparation, which is what the majority are doing. And then there's the top performer preparation, which is, a much smaller pool of people that know either intuitively, or they've been mentored, or they just know they have to do different things to stand out and to get the, the real research and stuff. But that pool is just doing different things than the average pool, which is like rehearsing the top 10 interview questions or winging it, just not, or self-sabotaging. Like this pool self-sabotages a lot. The average Marys or whatever you want to say, like they self-sabotage creeps in fight or flight and freeze creeps in, they will freeze. And which the fight or flight thing is a whole nother topic, but they will not, won't prepare till the night before their interviews and stuff, and then kick themselves later. So how do you prepare? The recruiter is supposed to be, is your ally at FANG. Now, everywhere, really, they should be your ally. You should be building that relationship with them and being super nice that they want to help you. Now, not every recruiter is super warm and fuzzy, but at the same time, for FANG specific, I can say your recruiter is supposed to prep you. This isn't just something that is like a nice to do in our industry. We know that it's hard to figure out what such big companies and like a lot of this info, if you're working on a product, this isn't public stuff. So how do you prepare? Your recruiter has the intel to what to focus on, focus areas for different people, links to check out and stuff like that. So you should be doing it like, a good solid hour of prep with that recruiter for an on-site. And again, I'll speak to Facebook. I can't speak to everywhere, but I'm pretty sure every recruiter is prepping for FANG.
Right. So for FANG, they are, but, and just in case anybody doesn't know, define FANG for us.
Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the top ones.
These are the top ones. But what we talked about and what I agree with is that no matter where you're interviewing, you can prepare not only like a top performer, but with the above average mentality as if you were interviewing at one of these, giants.
Yes.
In the market.
And that's my biggest tip to stand out. Like for people that are not interviewing with these top companies, why aren't you acting like they are? Why aren't you pretending or just convincing yourself that this is as important as a Facebook interview? Because it kind of is, right? You want to make a good impression. You want to get the best offer. You want to stand out still, whether it's a small company or a mom and pop or a no-name startup. You want to get the best. You put your best foot forward. Why aren't you, from a mindset shift, preparing and acting like it's Facebook? Because if Facebook or Google were calling you tomorrow, you're going to have to get in that mindset for that. So you should just do that from your job search. Adopt this top performer mindset today. Today, if you're watching, and what would a top performer do? I say, like, what would Jesus do? What would a top performer do? A top performer is not just Googling the night before random stuff. A top performer is putting 12 hours of preparation in for every 1 hour interview. And I got that from my mentor back in the day, who was a career coach. And I was like blown away by it. And then when I actually interviewed for Facebook, I realized that that's spot on, because I had put 12 plus hours in for each interview. So because to do the level of like homework, and it doesn't have to all be the boring stuff, like the boring and behavioral questions and stuff, but it's coffee chats with people at the company. To just get little tidbits. You never know what kind of little intel you can get from any of those conversations, and it just connects you to the brand more. You're learning more and more about the brand. You're getting more comfortable talking about, the company and stuff. So there's just a million ways, reading the earnings, listening to earnings reports and all that kind of stuff, podcasts from the CEO, all the C-level interviews. All that stuff takes time, and that's what the top performers are doing. They're really getting into the business to say, what is this company's business need? And how can I be the person to help solve that? Because that's the next step. You have to say, why me? And you really own it, not just like cross your fingers and hope. You have to really own, like, why is it me? And you have to figure that out and figure out how to convey that.
Oh, you are saying so many things that I just want to amplify, like neon sign kind of thing. They're going to ask you why you. They're going to ask you. And so I love what Barbara said. Hi, Barbara. Act as if now in every part of the hiring process, and marinating, as you talked about, in it, through different lenses from different people, right? Who are touching this brand, touching this company, involved on the inside, and everything that you can find on the outside. And I do really love and respect what you said about the ratio of prep, right? That's really important. 12 to 1, 12 hours to 1 hour of interviews. And yeah, it does sound very daunting, but if you want this position, you have to realize that most people are doing maybe an hour or two. And when
You
you get to,
will stand out when you do whatever things, pretty much whatever you're doing, do the opposite. Like if whatever you're doing is not working, I would just say that the big tip, this is a book I've been buzzing about, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. If you've heard of it. It's actually a 30-minute YouTube. You can find it as well. It's recorded. It's super small, but it's recorded in 1956 about the it's one of the first viral like self-helpy things to go viral. So millions of people transcribed this and listened to this around the world when it was on a radio thing. And it is a little old school when you hear it and stuff, you know, back in like 1956, but it's the main principle is goals. Most people don't have goals, and that's why they don't succeed. Thoughts become your reality. So you have to dismiss any negative thought coming into your mind instantly. You have to be able to witness them and dismiss them in order to not have what I believe is the enemy of your job search, the enemy of life, not have the enemy win. You have to dismiss this stuff. And then the other thing is he just throws in these other little tips of like, do what everybody else is not doing. Like if he pulled like I think it was 100 people. 100 individuals who start at 25, everybody thinks they're going to be successful, right? If you ask 100 people at 25 years old, will you be successful? Everyone's got hope and optimism and faith that they will be successful, right? So he said, what happened to those men and women by the time they're 65? 1 was wealthy. 4 were financially independent, doing well. 41 are still working, and 54 are broke and depending on others for life's necessities. So that's literally 1 out of 100 that was like wealthy to what they thought. And what separated, this whole thing's just about like what separated those people. And it's just the goals, minding your thoughts, and you know, just kind of like doing what others aren't willing to do.
I absolutely love that, because one of the things that we were also chatting about a little bit is that, you know, there are some recruiter pet peeves, right? And some of it is self-inflicted, right? You as a recruiter can do everything that you possibly can to prep a candidate, but then, you know, there's the stuff that you as the candidate get to do on your own. And so talk to us about some of the things that kind of irk you when you see these candidates who may be either self-sabotaging, which could be a pet peeve of yours because it's now, you know, a roadblock for this person's performance, and other things that you come across all the time that you know are avoidable.
Yeah, the recruiter one is really just that preparation and lack of empathy for our process and for the hiring manager's needs, our needs, et cetera. Empathy goes a long way. We don't see it, you know, from everyone. So you can stand out when you show empathy. Then from a coach perspective, the self-sabotage is definitely one, or really it's more of people not stopping and pausing to do their inner work and their mindset work, either before or at least simultaneously as they are starting to job hunt, because transitions are normal. They are the new normal. We all have to be ready for, you know, reinvention every couple of years now. Like, it's just part of the game. So what do you want to do? It's for some people, it's an easy, they kind of know, they already have that inner knowing. They know what they want to do. And for other people, they're like really not sure, or they're just so afraid and they have so much fear to step into whatever new identity that is that they want to, you know, try, whatever, leaving like an 8-year career behind and try something new and stuff like that. So then you see, I think self-sabotage is avoiding the tough questions, avoiding the getting to know yourself again, which is really what I walk clients through. It's like, it's mindset work is getting to know who you are. And it's very, very important. Yeah, I think that triggers me. It triggers me because, you know, it's just so personal to me. I've seen firsthand how not doing the inner work will impact your job search. If it's not today in this job search, it will impact it later, because sweeping stuff under the rug doesn't solve anything. You know, if you are like I have this one amazing client who she's she's gone so in on the inner work she's like barely recognizable from 6 months ago when I first started working with her. She's like really treating that as like her part-time job while she job hunts, you know. She's identified so many patterns. It's really getting to know your patterns that she like took all these other jobs for this reason. And now she's like, wow, that was silly because it's coming to bite her in the foot now that she's trying to do this thing. And she's really identifying people pleasing and all this other stuff that she's still young. She's like barely, I think 29, 30. And this is the work that now you're identifying this stuff. You're going to break these patterns. You're not going to have to deal with this stuff later, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's my thing. It's like,
and Barbara's echoing this. You got to do the inner work first, so the outer work works.
Ooh,
right?
I love that. I love that.
Really great. And we do have a question here. Yay. Thank you, Varsha. What are the top three elements on a resume that recruiters want to see right up?
Well, I think from a mindset lens, I always start with that. You know, obviously, like what a tech recruiter looks for is going to be very different than what a marketing recruiter sees or looks for. So we're all different in that way. But I mean, the only thing we look for is are you a fit? Have you done the job? Have you done the job? I think that's the biggest misconception too, is that, you know, a lot of companies don't really hire straight up for, especially FANG, like for your potential, you know, like we can see your potential and we can, you know, kind of tweak your, you know, the requirements in some ways and have some like flexibility if you haven't done exactly what we're looking for. But like a company's not hiring for your potential. On a resume, we want to see that you've done that job. Like if it's saying they need somebody in this leadership role and of course it's case by case depending on the roles and the things, but like a leadership role, if it's saying they need somebody with 5 years of leadership experience doing this, we want to see success within that leadership experience for at least 5 years. So I don't want to see 3. I don't want to see, you know, like, and maybe the person with 3, it could work for a different position. So that's cool. That's fine. But we want to see that you've done the job with the relevant things and that you know how to sell yourself. You know that working with a resume coach, a LinkedIn coach, you know, career coaches, it's not just a silly thing that people are doing just for no reason. It's like, it's people that have seen thousands and thousands and thousands of resumes and help people get hired. So like invest in yourself. That's another thing that is a pet peeve, is people that don't invest in themselves. So hope that answered your question. That's kind of all I can really say. We want it to be clean. We don't want a resume to look all crazy and messy, hard to see. Again, work with a coach to figure out how that looks.
Yeah. And then another question is, how is it best to display or communicate transferable skills, right? How, you know, if I don't have 5 years, I have 3 years, but I've done other leadership-like things. How does that get factored in?
That's where the recruiter screen is good. That's why hopefully you've made a relationship, whether on LinkedIn or got a referral, or somehow you're kind of able to get that recruiter screen to be able to communicate it. Because look, it's not our job to, you know, to give everybody a chance that is not meeting the qualifications, you know, or not. And that's just the harsh truth. It's not our job. It's nice to do that, but we aren't in the business of, you know, trying to make sure everyone gets seen. There's literally not enough hours in the day. Like we have thousands of people, you know, applying to these roles all the time. So it's not our job to really like, you know, go out of our way to be like, are they transferable skills and blah, blah, blah. Like, but you can, I like the summary, and this is just, you know, kind of like maybe a common sense tip, but I like the summary to show that's an opportunity for you to put there what it is you're trying to tell a recruiter. But if you ask, you know, other recruiters, maybe they hate the summary thing. I like the summary. Tell me in a couple sentences, passionate, blah, 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 been doing this, this, and this, looking to move into this, transferable skills include blah, blah, blah. Clean,
exactly.
easy, explain it.
Make it abundantly clear. Don't make them work, right? You don't want to, if you are going to put a summary together, then spell it out. Spell it out. There's no guesswork. Adam is here and he says he's a little late, so no worries, Adam. My apologies if this was addressed, but I'm finding that my resume doesn't get past AI or ATS. Most of the time, a human doesn't even see my resume. When someone does, I often hear from them. But if I don't have a referral, I get nowhere. Any suggestions for a more AI-friendly resume or getting noticed?
Okay, I just did a post on this like yesterday. I shared a post by someone else who I love. Let me see if I can find it. The short version of this is it's not the resume, it's not the ATS system. Like, I don't know where that came about. I love, she said, all an applicant tracking system is a glamorized filing cabinet. It's a filing cabinet of the resumes. They store them. They allow you to schedule interviews. This is Nicole Fernandez Valle at Wix.com. She's a recruiter. They allow you to schedule interviews and put in notes. There's hundreds out there, many having different capabilities. An Excel sheet can even be considered an ATS. Some have places where you can input keywords to help rank resumes. So you can, kind of filter them that way by the keywords. Some include knockout questions that will send automatic rejection notices based on what you as a candidate answer in response. Basically, if you put in some of those questions that they have when you are uploading it with your resume, and you disqualify yourself, basically. So then it will, mostly just used for location and like citizenship or visa stuff or something like that. What they are not are robots screening out resumes because they don't have a list of keywords or because there's a gap in employment. That's not happening. That's not happening. More likely than not, a live recruiter is reviewing every resume that comes in. An ATS is not something you need to beat. My thought, and this was my thoughts, don't add this to the list of things that are killing your job search. Take ownership and responsibility for all. If you're not getting seen because of that, it's not the ATS, it's that there are a lot of applicants going into every job now. And referrals, is that on my side?
No, that's on my side. It's my son.
Oh, okay. So like the referral, and I always say this about referrals too, referrals back in the day, and I'm going to say even like 3.5 years ago when I started at Facebook, in my group I was in then, they did help. Like every referral that came in, I was able to pretty much talk to all of them, and they were all always pretty good fit. And it did help you stand out from the 500 other people in the ATS resume filing cabinet because they get prioritized. It's a friend of a person who works here or whatever. So back in the day, like that was like, it did get you a leg up. Like people were not super hip to the referral game. So now everybody knows that referrals, get a referral, get it in, get it this, so like you got to find new tactics. You got to stay ahead of it. A referral doesn't guarantee, back in the day, it could have been like, let's say 20 came in, that's going to put you 20 in front of the other 500 to get seen. But now we get just as many referrals as we're getting regular applications, pretty much. That's my personal opinion on it. So if you're not meeting all the things as a referral, that's still not going to help you. The ATS, we're still searching. We're still looking through those things to be able to find the right fit. So it's not the ATS blocking you. You just need to make sure that, and yeah, it's a human rejecting you. It's like, unless we fill it somehow, quickly, the first candidate that I get in, I wind up filling it, or an internal person comes in and gets it, then you might get an automatic rejection because the role's filled. But it's not anything that's trying to beat you. You need to just have the best resume, period. And then you don't have to worry about it. I hope that helps.
Fantastic. We have another question regarding LinkedIn from Alana. Hi, Alana. Does a job seeker need to pass the LinkedIn profile test with a recruiter before a resume is even viewed? If so, what are you looking at in the first 5 seconds of a LinkedIn profile? Great question.
I love that question. I don't think I've ever heard that before, because it is a thing. Like we do cross-check, at least I do. I do cross-check now to make sure you're still and the reason I'm actually mainly doing it, just to be honest, is everyone's moving and shaking these days. So I'm looking to see, did you just accept a new job somewhere? Right? Is your LinkedIn updated with something from 2 months ago? You just joined some other company or something, in which case that is, a data point for me to say maybe they're not super actively ready to make a change. I'm still going to send them a note if they applied, at some point and they were interested in the company, then it's still worth a try. But I usually just cross-check to see where they're at now, and a little bit to see if it matches. Does the resume match the LinkedIn? Is there anything weird that pops out? What am I looking at in the first 5 seconds? Really just those same kind of things: companies, titles, years. Does it all kind of align? It doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to you if there's something a little bit off or whatever, for whatever reason. But yeah, it's really just a kind of verification, and also to see how active you are.
Right. So to see how active you are, just touch on this. We're close to time, but what does active mean? When you see how active you are, what are you actually looking for?
Yeah, I mean, again, just that like, have they updated their profile recently? When if I see somebody like I really like that, maybe they didn't apply and I just kind of stumbled across their LinkedIn profile and they seem like a really good fit for the role, for something I'm working on, I will then poke around a little bit at their activity, to see if are they LinkedIn users, because then that's going to help me know, should I email them directly? Should I use the LinkedIn message feature? Should I call them and be a stalker? Like there's how active are they on the platform tells me how they probably best communicate. I feel like a lot of people, I'll just send them a quick ad nowadays instead of like a formal email. I'll send a quick ad and they add me back in a minute. Then I can just message and it's easy. So how active they are even on the platform is kind of useful.
Great. So if you are active, and active doesn't mean just your profile, active is also your activity, what you're doing on LinkedIn, maybe even who you're connected with and what you're saying as far as your content. That is, again, another data point. Maybe it's not the reason why you're getting hired, but it also puts more equity into your candidacy, right? Like I like to think of your candidacy like a bank account, and you're adding in value, 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 value. By the time you get to a recruiter and have gone through the 12 hours of, top performer prep, you are accumulating so many elements that help you to stand out. So it's not like there's one solution. It
Right.
has to be treated holistically.
Yes.
From the mindset piece to the actual materials, the documentation, including LinkedIn, all the way through the interview process, your responsiveness at each and every step. And I just want to end on this note, your passion and enthusiasm. So we talked about this very, very briefly in the very beginning. And so, you can smell a good candidate in part by their level of interest and enthusiasm for the changes that they've made in themselves and the changes that they want to bring to the company.
Yes. We become really expert at like lie detectors / also just energy readers. Like it's part of our job, and it's like this unspoken data point there of like when you're on the phone with somebody, when someone is excited to talk to you. Like it's not rocket science. So when someone's excited to talk to you, when they're kind of like faking the funk on like certain things, because we're just trained to do that. I actually used to work at an agency with somebody who was like a legitimate, I don't want to say CIA, but something like that in the government, and he moved into recruiting because he was such an expert at interrogation, lie detecting, and all that stuff. And like he's now a recruiter. So think about that. Like we're just like picking up on those subtle cues too. You have an opportunity then to just show up and actually sound enthusiastic. If there's two people, we're going to push through the one or be more excited about the one. We're your advocates, right? You have no idea how we're selling and like being your ally on the inside too, by the way. Like somebody just recently said, like, why the 6-month cool off period? And I was like, that's a good question. In between interviewing, FANG usually has 6 months or 12 months before you can engage again. And here's what they don't know. They don't know that if you've made that good relationship with the recruiter, if you have maybe you were super close to an offer, but you were just missing this one thing that team needed. They don't know that we're sharing your info at team meetings. We are advocating for you without you even knowing it during that 6 months. So you're not interviewing again, but we are your allies. We're doing it behind the scenes. You're not going to have to do the whole interviews again, but we're going to be selling you to our teams to say, this guy was really great. He almost made it for this other group. Can we see him for this one? So there's just a lot of that behind the scenes advocation type of thing that I don't think a lot of candidates realize or know about, but it's up to you to build that relationship and just show up and do a really good job, which you can control. And that's going to help you kind of get seen. So
fantastic. So, Erica, thanks for being here. Absolutely. EQ for the win. Your energy matters. So just any other things that you want to shout out to the LinkedIn world of job seekers or anybody else who is listening about anything, between, as you mentioned, this is kind of prime time right now. Any other Niki Woodall, like words of wisdom, advice, insights that you want to share?
Yeah, real quick. First thing, I think it was Erica who asked the thing about checking LinkedIn and do we like kind of look at folks there? And a lot of companies say that they do that. Again, this is where like other companies maybe, but like Facebook recruiters are too busy. I don't know if you have a Facebook account. I don't know if you're active on Facebook. I do not care. Like not my business. Like not my business what you're doing with your personal. So like a lot of people think like, oh, are you going to see my Facebook or my Instagram? Like I do not have time, nor do I care about what you're doing on there. This is for a business, you know, can you solve the company's business problems? I'm not here to stalk your personal life. So I don't do that. So it's interesting that other people say that they do.
But for LinkedIn, you do a cross check.
LinkedIn, yeah, but she said online, a candidate's online and LinkedIn. So I'm like, I ain't doing that online. Yeah, last thought. I think the main thing is, I think my biggest tip right now, as somebody who just actually went through something kind of traumatic this summer and experienced like loss and stuff, I didn't realize how I wound up taking 3 weeks off. I took this bereavement, and it was fascinating to experience that because of course I was like healing and going through stuff, but at the same time, like I realized how burnt out I was even before that. And I think that the burnout is a big problem right now. So, and it's kind of, again, whatever you're doing, like do the opposite of it. Like if you think that you are rejuvenating on these like half work trips to here, and then you log in and then you go hiking or, you know, on your free time, or, you know, kind of like I'll take a long weekend type of things to recover. There is so much going on. I mean, I'm just even here in my house, there's currently 3 animals, and it's like, I feel like I'm a slave to the animals. like I am literally nonstop, like water, food, walk, this, that. And I'm just like, imagine people with kids. Like I don't have children. So I can't imagine the additional layers of exhaustion and burnout to deal with, and on top of job searching, work stuff, and everything else. So I think we're all burnt out and we need to take time away. I think you need like a significant time away. And if you can even pause your job search for and everything for like a solid, like mindful, intentional 3 weeks or something. For me, it was like that 21 days. That was like, wow, I felt that shift after like 3 weeks. Because we're just so attached to devices. We're so on the go and we're so always connected. Disconnecting can be your biggest ally. It can make you more productive when you come back. It can actually make you just more enthusiastic and appreciative of the technology and stuff too. But you might think like, oh, that's going to kill my job search. Other things could be going on and stuff. But like what's meant for you is not going to pass you. If you intuitively feel that you need a break and you're experiencing burnout from this pandemic stuff to be able to move forward, do it. If you even have the hunch, just do it. The other thing is just to distract, like cut out the noise, because that's what I essentially did during that time. It's like, you know, I was doing Audible books. Now it's back to paper books, you know, like paper books where you're not on a phone, you're not on technology, you're not listening to stuff. It's literally just totally disconnected. Tune out the noise during your job search. There's so much distraction. And I just believe that, again, the enemy, like the thing, there's just so much hiding everywhere and all this noise and all this distraction, including social media. Guess what? Including socials. I believe if you are trying to get a job, LinkedIn is your friend. Facebook for maybe networking and connecting with old colleagues and old things, but like tune out noise that is not helping your future goal. This book talks about the goals and how it's just like the simplest way to move ahead. So that's my main thing. Tune out noise and take the break if you really need it, and take a significant break. Don't take like a half break because I can speak from personal, like you will feel much better if you do that.
And you'll show up better.
And you'll show up better. Yep.
And you'll show up better. And it's and that time to regroup is going to actually move you forward through the process, because all those things will actually be in much healthier, and
we will feel that energy. We're going to feel that energy.
Absolutely. Niki Woodall, you are a queen and an amazing person to talk to, right to the chase. I love that. Thank you so much for being here today. We went a little bit over. Sorry, guys. Blast and a half. And
I love this. Thanks for having me. And feel free to find my YouTube. I'm giving away a free coaching session too for anybody who subscribes to my YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Yeah, look for Niki on LinkedIn, look for her on YouTube, and thank you.
Thank you for having me. Really love you and appreciate this.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Stay on.